Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with another transfer talk roundup show. News of potential incomings and obviously potential outgoings at Aston Villa. The rumour mill is still in full flow and I'm sure will continue over the summer. Make sure you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. We're marching on to 6,000 subscribers, so please do help us get there by liking to help spread the word of the channel. Subscribing, it is totally free, and get your comments and your thoughts on the players that are linked in and also linked out of Aston Villa. So first one, I was going to do this show yesterday and at certain points across today, but just haven't really had the time. But I'm glad because another player, another rumour has sprung up sort of this afternoon about Ollie Watkins and potentially a move out and another club interested in him. Obviously, in January, it was reported that he was close to moving out from Aston Villa. It was between him and John Duran. It was obviously John Duran that moved on and Ollie Watkins stayed. But there has not that the rumor hasn't gone away, and Arsenal have been interested again. I think Man United have maybe made noises about being interested, and there's been that talk of a Rashford and Watkins swap deal, if you like. But Chelsea now have apparently begun talks with Ollie Watkins for a £60 million deal. Now, let me know what you think in the comments. There's obviously Ollie Watkins divides opinion with Aston Villa supporters. There are numerous ones who say he misses too many big chances and he goes missing at times in games, and he maybe isn't good enough with certain parts of his game, and has missed chances at big points in this season. And I guess when he lost his place, or allegedly lost his place, to Marcus Rashford and started to sort of make noises about not being happy, while in a lot of eyes that's a good thing. We want him to be unhappy that he's not starting, and Unai Emery pointed that out as well. You know, maybe there's no smoke without fire, and he's been maybe flirting a little bit with moves away from the club and sort of putting his name out there with potential suitors. For me, I think he is good enough. I think it's very, very difficult to find a player who has scored 15 goals or more in the last 3 Premier League seasons and double figures in the last 5 Premier League seasons. So to try and replace those goals and the contributions, the goal contributions that he brings to the team, the knowledge that he has of how Villa play and how Unai Emery likes him to play, will be very, very difficult to replace with another player who would have to take time to acclimatise to that. And particularly if they come from, you know, a European league where they have to get used to the physicality and the pace of the Premier League and all that sort of stuff, it'd be very, very difficult to replace. And then also, you know, the likes of Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal are all kind of rivals for European spots for Aston Villa. So why would we sell one of the best, most consistent goal scorers in the Premier League to another direct rival? That does not make sense. So to me, I don't see it happening. I don't see us looking to offload for that price. I mean, maybe if the price is higher, if we have a ready-made replacement, then that would be something that we could consider. But I know a lot of you think that, you know, 30 years of age, maybe his last big move could be the time to sort of say thanks, Ollie, and move on with another player. Now, a player who could be coming in to potentially replace, or someone who is on the radar for many clubs, allegedly, is Liam Delap. And it looks like a £30 million release clause he has from Ipswich, who have obviously been relegated, but he's been one of the shining lights for Ipswich this season. Bit of a throwback centre forward, occupies defenders, and has done well at Ipswich this season in what is a very, very struggling side. And he's scored 12 goals in 30 starts in the Premier League, 2 of those being against Aston Villa. And he gave, or was it 3 goals against Aston Villa? You'd have to let me know in the comments. But gave Diego Carlos an absolutely torrid time and gave us a tough game at Villa Park where they were down to 10 men, and he had a great finish. He scored 4 goals with his left foot, 8 goals with his right foot, has won 2 penalties, has also missed 10 big chances. So you can see the reason why so many clubs are looking at him, because he, in a better team, in a side that has more possession, in a side that will create more chances, it looks like at 22 years of age, the potential's there, and he would be able to score lots of goals. Now, could you argue that he kind of plays in a similar style, a little bit to Ollie Watkins? Plays, occupies the centre back, works extremely hard, can hold the ball up, is quite an all-rounder, hasn't scored any goals with his head, which is interesting. So that might be something that he would want to improve there. But could he be an option? Now, lots of Villa fans do like Liam Delap. For me, I think the jury is still hugely out with him. I think one good season, or sort of a 3/4 of a good season with Ipswich, doesn't necessarily bode well, or doesn't, for me, give us much of a body of evidence to say that he could thrive in a team that's challenging for the top 4, which is what Aston Villa are, and playing in Champions League football, or at least European football. So it would, for me, be a difficult one. Would we be able to bring him in as well as keeping Ollie Watkins? Would he be happy with that? That's the situation. But for me, I think probably a club like an Everton, a Brentford, someone like that, where he would be playing regular football, and then you kind of see whether he could take that step up to a club that is in that mid-range of the Premier League, pushing into sort of Conference League level football, and then maybe take it from there. But interesting one. You guys let me know your thoughts in the comments. Does someone like Liam Delap really have that potential? Could you see him as a replacement for Ollie Watkins? That's the interesting one to think about. But numerous clubs will be interested in him. I am sure of it. The next player that I'm sure is on pretty much every single club in the Premier League's radar is Brian Mbuemo. Now, how good is he? 18 goals in the Premier League this season. I think Newcastle are interested in him. I would say Liverpool are probably interested in him. Would he be someone who would thrive or fit into Unai Emery's style? Now, off the right-hand side, we're looking to sell Leon Bailey. Brian Mbuemo would be an absolute phenomenal replacement for him. And imagine him and Donyell Marlon sort of dovetailing. He plays one week, Marlon plays the other week. It would be absolutely frightening if Marlon is going to settle into life at Villa Park. So 34 starts, 18 goals, which is an incredible return, 8 big chances missed, and he really is. Him and Wissa are really Brentford's main 2 players. 16 goals from inside the box, 2 from outside the box, 17 with his left foot, 1 with his right foot. So we know that he plays off the right and cuts in on his left, but he's absolutely devastating with his pace, with his skill, with his trickery, with his strength. Has 6 assists, has created 16 big chances. I mean, what a season he has had. Got to be up there for team of the season for Brian Mbuemo. Absolutely fantastic player. And I think, if we were to get rid of someone like Ollie Watkins, he would be an absolute candidate for us to bring in and obviously move things around with who would play and operate up front in those attacking positions. But Mbeumo, for me, would be an absolute shoe-in, an absolutely exciting signing. For me, getting 30 to 40 million for Leon Bailey, signing Mbeumo for 50 to 60 million, I think it's an absolute no-brainer. So you let me know your thoughts. Mbeumo, Delap, does Ollie Watkins leave? And finally, this player was on the radar, I think, maybe last summer and also in January as a centre-back option, Flavian Enzo Boyomo of Osasuna. And I think 23 years of age, has played at Blackburn's Academy, came through within Blackburn's Academy from 2016 to 2020. Then went to Albacete, where he played 93 times. Then Valladolid, 41 appearances. And now at Osasuna, where he's made 23 appearances and has 2 caps for Cameroon. Obviously, strong central defender with a lot of potential. I think it's about 25 million euros is the price that they're looking at. So 21 million pounds. And I think, we're talking about centre-backs needing freshening up, needing speed at the back, needing strength at the back. His strengths on SofaScore are tackling and ground duels. 23 years of age, so pretty good age in terms of his profile. can operate on the right-hand side of central defence, left-hand side of central defence. 31 starts, 2 goals, and 2 both from inside the box, both with his right foot. In terms of clean sheets, 8 clean sheets this season, which is not too bad. There's 2 errors leading to a shot and only 1 error leading to a goal, so not bad at all. 3.5 ball recoveries per game, 2 tackles per game. Doesn't get dribble past very often. 51% in terms of duels won, 57% ground duels, only 4% aerial duels, but I'd imagine the ball is in Spain is on the floor quite a lot. So, look, I think we need freshening up at centre back. I think we need pace. I think we need power at the back. We've talked about, Pau Torres not necessarily being the strongest, not necessarily being the quickest, and Ezri Konsa not necessarily working as well with Pau Torres as he does with Tyrone Mings. And Tyrone Mings, unfortunately, hasn't got too much left in terms of being able to go week in, week out in him because of the injuries and the age he's at. So we certainly need refreshing in that centre-back position. And could Boyomo be an option there? I just know from experience, the Cameroonian defenders, the Senegalese defenders, brilliant in terms of wholehearted, going after the ball, winning tackles, but sometimes can be a bit erratic. So he'd probably have to sort of temper that down in the Premier League if that's how he plays. In terms of past experience, seeing some of those players, but in terms of, as I say, power, strength, pace, and that wholeheartedness, I think it's certainly something that we need at the back. So could be a good one. And to work with someone like Unai Emery will be fantastic. And I'm sure he will be able to really refine his game for the Premier League and for European football. So let's watch this space with him. It's interesting that we've gone back in for him because we obviously were interested in him before. So that certainly seems like a concrete rumour and certainly a Monchi type signing where it's a rough diamond that we could polish up into a real jewel. So that'll be interesting to see. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Ollie Watkins, is he on his way out? And do you want to see him go into a club like Chelsea? Liam Delap, would you be settling for Watkins going if someone like Liam Delap came in? Brian Mbuemo, is that a player that we are interested in? And how much would you like to see him in a Villa shirt? And Enzo Boyomo, could he be the answer at centre-back for us for next season? That's it from me. I'll be back later with the Fulham preview, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, help us on the road to 6K. Get your thoughts in the comments. Thank you all for watching. And as always, remember, we'll follow the Villa.